in real terms, they are two sides of the same coin. The United States of America still wants to be the hegemon in the world. They want to control.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings. I hope you all are doing good. And this one is all about a wise African man, otherwise known as Palumba, exposes the truth about Trump. Plus, guys, you will be also hearing from Mutabaruka, addresses a lot in this one concerning the Bible and Haile Selassie, Rastafari and empowerment. So guys, you wanna stay tuned. And don't forget, I'm here on the Black Unity program. So feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you're new. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this one and hear what's going on.
What is going to happen is that we are going to see a United States of America which thinks that is losing its grip. So I am of the view, which is subject to being second guessed, that a Trump presidency may very well be the presidency that will quicken the end of the wars. I am of the view that the United States of America is going to be very active in Africa as a reaction to China and Russia, and as a reaction to other players such as the Emiratis and the Turks. The United States of America is a country that cannot be ignored. It still has the strongest economy in the world. It is hegemon militarily. It is a strong nation. Economically, it is a strong nation. And the reality of the world is that the law of the jungle is still alive and well, is survival of the fittest, the dying of the least suitable, and in truth, power still springs from the barrel of the gun. So we in the continent of Africa must pay attention. You remember that the United States of America has bases in a number of African countries, and going forward, we must define, particularly in the continent of Africa, we must define how we are going to engage with the United States of America. And my considered view is that a strong Africa will be able to engage in a much more creative and symbiotic way. A weak Africa will be manipulated by the United States of America, notwithstanding who is the president of that country after the 5th day of November, and of course after inauguration in the month of January 2025. I've always held the view that the Democrats and the Republicans in the United States of America are two sides of the same coin. So that in terms of international relations, I do not think that anything changes fundamentally. In my view, the United States of America has certain anchors which don't change in a dramatic manner simply because there is at the helm a president who is a Democrat or one who is a Republican. Of course, there are certain things that will happen a lot more prominently when a Republican president is in power, but in real terms, there are two sides of the same coin. The United States of America still wants to be the hegemon in the world. They want to control affairs. They want the dollar to remain the dominant currency in the world. They want their military to be the strongest in the world. They want to dictate what happens not only in the continent of Africa but in Asia. They want to be dominant in business. They want to be dominant in science. And it matters not who is at the helm, because I think beyond the faces, and in spite of the faces, whether Republican or Democrat, there is something that the American administrative machine does in the interest of the United States of America. Trump argues and is on record as saying that he will do everything in his power to bring the wars to an end. And of course, even Kamala Harris says the same thing. But I think things have shifted on the ground so very dramatically that it may not be as easy as one imagines. And Trump, of course, was a former president, and the argument was in the United States that he had rapport with President Putin of Russia, and that could very well help in resolving the conflict in Europe between Russia and Ukraine. And you remember at one time, when Trump was the president, he also had very tough words against NATO, asking them to pick up the bills. So I am of the view, which is subject to being second-guessed, that a Trump presidency may very well be the presidency that will quicken the end of the wars. That is my own view. But easier said than done. One must be cautious in making such statements. The United States foreign policy, when one talks about Kenya or Africa, remains fundamentally constant. But there are those who observe, and I'm one of them, that during Republican presidencies, the United States of America does appear to support many more programs than during the Democratic presidencies, which is full of rhetoric and short on action. And I am of the view that the United States of America is going to be very active in Africa as a reaction to China and Russia, and as a reaction to other players such as the Emiratis and the Turks. Take, for example, in the single area, the Belt and Road Bridge program that is being done by the Chinese. The Americans are already responding with what is called the Lobito Corridor, which is to build a railway from Lobito in Angola through to Zambia and the Democratic Republic of Congo for purpose of extraction of minerals. And of course, they will also be reacting to the presence of Russia in the Sahel region and the presence of China as one of the leading partners of many African countries. So one will begin to see once again Africa being a theater of contestation of different powers, and those powers are the United States of America. Of course, one sees that even France, and it is not lost on me that the French have actually announced that they'll have a meeting of the Francophonies in 2026 in Kenya. Beggars belief. I do not know why they should do that. Kenya is not a Francophonie. You've seen the British also through the Commonwealth becoming a lot more aggressive. The Turks are equally aggressive. The Emiratis are equally aggressive. The Chinese are a little bit more subtle. They don't make as much noise as others do, but you see them in different areas. So what is going to happen is that we are going to see a United States of America which thinks that is losing its grip, and therefore whoever wins, it is going to be a time for activity in the continent of Africa. Kenya remains strategically very important in the Eastern Africa region and in the Horn. And that is particularly so because many countries in this part of the world are threatened with some kind of conflict. You go to Somalia, there is still some conflict. You go to Ethiopia, there is still some animosity. Sudan, of course, we know what is happening there. South Sudan is also going through its own difficulties. So Kenya has major strategic value. And I believe that whoever is in government will want to engage Kenya as an anchor country in that regard for geopolitical and geostrategic reasons.
Haile Selassie. Now, all the youth right now are declare themselves Rasta. But just like the Marcus Garvey situation, a whole heap of them don't really take up no book and study about Haile Selassie. What them do is take up the Bible. The Bible is not a history book of Haile Selassie. The Bible don't show you the works and the situation that Haile Selassie find himself in and how he maneuver himself out of it. When a man tell you say, Haile Selassie say, and then him quote the Bible, that is some Christian mindset. You need to get the autobiography of Haile Selassie, volume 1 and volume 2, and the selected speeches of Haile Selassie to find out what Haile Selassie say. Because if you cannot quote something that Haile Selassie say, and every time you quote something that you claim say Haile Selassie said, you are quoting a Psalms or you are quoting something from the New Testament, then trust me, you don't reach nowhere. There's so much things to know about Haile Selassie. Haile Selassie was born Tafari Makonnen, 1892 on the 23rd of July by a man named Rasta Makonnen and Yeshima Bet Ali, his mother. Yeshima Bet Ali, not much is known about her because what happened, she died when he was about 2 years old. But him got through. The name Haile Selassie was given to him at birth. The name Tafari Makonnen was given to him by his parents. But as you know, when you're into a certain orthodoxy church, them give you a name coming from the church. Like when I did born, my mother carried me go a Roman Catholic church and give me a Roman Catholic church name, which we don't use. It every day on my birth certificate. But Haile Selassie has become a figure to be reckoned with because of the Rastafari movement outside of Ethiopia. When Haile Selassie started to rule Ethiopia, he was about 14-year-old. 14, as Lidge Tafari Makonnen. And then he become Rastafari Makonnen. Ras is a title in Ethiopia. Ras, title. Tafari means one to be feared. That is what Tafari means. And in that time, when Menelik defeated the Italian army at the Battle of Adwa, and him start to rule and him start to get sick, him didn't need a person to take over from him. And him designated a woman by the name of Zadito, translated means Judith. And she ruled as Empress of Ethiopia. Meanwhile, Rastafari was what we call king. Not king of kings, king of Ethiopia. And he was the one who was doing the everyday work in Ethiopia until she died. And when she died, he was crowned Emperor Haile Selassie I, King of Kings, conquering Lion of Judah, elect of God. This is not Rasta pronouncing these things. This is something of the Ethiopian tradition. Because the Ethiopians actually believe that their emperor is descended from Solomon and a woman by the name of Makeda. Makeda was the queen of Seba out of Yemen when Ethiopia empire stretched even into Yemen. We must know all these things because it can help to strengthen how you view and how you see and how you recognize yourself. If he is a Ras, not just running out around the place and smoking ganja and talking about Jah Rastafari, that is nothing. That is nothing. When Tafari Makonnen go up on the throne, them start using him original name. Haile Selassie the first. The reason why them say Haile Selassie the first is because he was the first emperor that named Haile Selassie on the throne. It's like how you have Queen Elizabeth II. The reason why she named Queen Elizabeth II is because he did have a queen named Queen Elizabeth I. And when we look on the history of Ethiopia and how Ethiopia fight against colonialism, against Italian invasion, And in 1935, when Haile Selassie went to the League of Nations to plead the cause of his people, when the Italians started second time invade it, him asked the League of Nations, which was now, when them call it United Nations now, what must I go back and tell my defenseless people? You have struck the match in Ethiopia and it shall burn Europe. Haile Selassie. People say, if the world had listened to that little man, World War II might have never begun. In the book, Great Men of Color, by J.A. Rogers, who was a Jamaican, Volume 1, him say, when him recognize and look at Haile Selassie, him say, behold the perfect man. Not me say it. Go and look, or read J.A. Rogers. So when we say Haile Selassie, it's not something where we just raffle and pick it out our box. It's something that the Rastafari think deeply about, consciously, even though them say we are idiots. Because we don't believe in no spirit God. We believe in a life as we see it. The natural order come from nature, and them can't destroy that. Instead of them destroy nature, nature going to destroy them. Because all this climate, this and environmental this, it's just man a try to survive in a climate where him perpetuate and him put into practice. So when them say, why man, the world are going to destroy, the world, the earth have a way to just gobble up things and put it out back. I'm still there. But man, I don't know how long I'm going to go there. Just like how man say God create man in his own image. Now we say man a create AI in his own image. And just like how man claim, say him a go against the God when create him, maybe the AI when go against him who him create.
This one was indeed a warm and interesting one. So feel free to leave an honest comment down in the comment section, and also your own opinion. And you don't know say me day up on the Black Unity program. So feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you're new. Bless up, big up to each and every one. Up until then, peace out. Adios.